Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to the Conscious Eating Evolution series. I'm Karina, a conscious eating catalyst and soul relationship guide, and have created this series to give you a more holistic overview around the transformative power of food so you are more enabled and empowered to make healthier and more mindful choices for yourself and this planet. And today we're going to have a look into metaphysics and why eating like a rainbow is very important for us from that perspective with Amber Poole. She is the spiritual counselor, crystal Reiki Master Teacher, energy healer, and psychic medium who stepped fully into her service mission in 2014. She's a holistic coach specialized in integrative nutrition and is a graduate from the Food and Spirit program by Dr. Deanne Minich and from the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Welcome, Amber. I'm so happy that you're joining us today.
Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, awesome. So for people who don't know you yet, I would love to, find out more about you, what brought you into the field that you're working in, and especially as well, like how did the food component then come into your life as well as a part of your practice?
Got it. So I had really bad anxiety. I had depression back in 2012. And I would go to the doctors and they would give me medicine so that I could just get through it. And it's not something that resonated with me. And I thought there has to be something else to this. And then I got really sick. And so here I have an unhealthy body plus anxiety on top of it. And I was a food blogger. I was probably the most unhealthy food blogger there was, right? So whatever I wanted to make and it brought in views, that's where I always focused. And then when I got sick, I went to an energy healer, which I was kind of like, what is this? Right? I wasn't familiar with any of this world. And she gave me some ginger tea just to start off. We sat in her kitchen. She got all the ginger out, lemon and honey. She made it for me. And I'm like, what's going on here? And she's like, this is healthy. So it piqued my interest because I'm like, okay, now I have this energy healing, which it's channeled energy that comes through, and she's feeding me healthy food. I don't understand. So I started to read up on it, get involved with it, connect in. I meditated a lot just to calm myself down, and I found out that helped my anxiety. So helping my anxiety uncover what was hiding behind there. I was miserable at my job. I didn't want to do it. There's a lot of things that I wasn't happy about in my life. So I started to make choices to provide me more joy, more happiness. And I ended up making a full-time job being a psychic medium and doing an energy healer as well as incorporating food. So I got to incorporate all of those modalities together. So that's what started it.
Wow. And like, how did you notice that, that was it, that was like your thing that you really wanted to do? Was there like a special awakening or were you always connected to energy? Because you said like, what is energy healing? That's like the first time when you connected with it. So how did this transition into it happen?
Okay, so I could always see colors and auras around people when I was little, and I just thought that was normal and that everybody else knew that. But I went to church one day and our pastor had this beautiful green aura, and I bumped my mom and I said, I've never seen anybody look so amazing before in my life. It was this gorgeous, vibrant green. And she's like, what do you see? I was like, I don't know. It's a green light going around that guy. And so then that was my first time where I realized I'm seeing energy when people don't normally see energy. And I shut all of my gifts down, middle school, high school, because people, it's abnormal. So people would make remarks. That's the girl that sees colors. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought this was normal stuff. So that got shut down for a while. Again, when I went back to my anxiety in 2012, and I was Googling ways to get out of anxiety. And I found an energy healer that said that she opened up her hand chakras and she scanned her body and was looking for dense energy. And I thought, that's crazy. So I tried it and I felt this dense energy all over me. And I was like, this is bizarre. So I called my mom and I asked her to lay down, and I scanned my mom. And I realized I'm feeling energy, I'm incorporating things, but it reawakened my gifts because then people were talking to me and I'm like, oh, what is this? I said, Mom, who is this person? She's like, oh, you didn't know that, but that's your uncle that crossed over. And I said, no, what? So this is how it just unfolded. And I would find out that when I do energy work and I'm not eating properly for myself, I get drained. I have my anxiety. I go into the depression modes, into this lower frequency. So I have to maintain food, like healthy choices for myself, not only for my body to function, but emotionally and spiritually as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that story. It's fun.
Yeah.
So there might be a lot of people out there who have like no idea at all about or don't believe in energy healing or energy at all. But you specifically as well call yourself the chakra diva. And maybe it might be interesting for people to, be kind of opened up to the concept of the chakra system and what it is about, and because you especially work with it, right?
Yes. So well, you can tell in the back, these are all chakras and the colors and things. This is at my office. And let's say you have these 8 different centers. We focus mainly on 7, but I always say 8 because you have 1 below your feet. And they do different things, and it incorporates different areas in your life. So let's say that you are having financial issues or problems and are living paycheck to paycheck. In your root chakra, which is the red one, that means that we're going to work with that energy system to bring in abundance and bring in finance and bring in safety and security. So they work on an energetic perspective, meaning you have them throughout your body, although you can't see them. And they also work with an emotional perspective on that too. So your sacral is for creativity and emotions. Your yellow is the solar plexus, and that's for your willpower, your path in life. I call it the self-ID because that's where your self-esteem is, who you are sits there. Then we have the heart chakra, which is the green one, how much love you're given, universal love, loving yourself too, as well as loving others. You have your throat chakra, which is the blue one. How well do you communicate? Speak your authentic truth, which a lot of people have a problem with this. Saying yes when they mean yes and no when they mean no, but speaking exactly what they want to speak and saying it so it's not harsh, but it's finding that balance in there. And you have your third eye. I call this the mental chatter one, right? Because we're always in our heads. We're not usually, some people are heartfelt people, like we speak from our hearts, but a lot of people get stuck in their mental thoughts and things like that. It's also really good for your intuition and visualization. So if there's something that you want to manifest, you want to get to know your third eye. And then you have the spirit one, it's crown chakra that sits on top, and that's universal, right? So this universal flow that goes in between everybody and connecting in with your higher self or your higher power, knowing that there's something bigger than us that exists. So all of these chakras are within our systems, and then it's up to you to consciously go into them and make changes or make improvements to them.
That's, I think, a real beautiful introduction, and especially I love it that you have them right in your back and you can teach like a ladder with that. Awesome.
Yeah, chakras.
So why can it be very helpful to know about this system, and especially regarding food?
Okay, so again, let's go back. I was probably the most logical person there is, and I didn't believe in these chakras and what they do. And I started to meditate and connect in. One, it lowered my anxiety, right? But number 2, I understood these chakra systems. So there's chakra guided meditations on YouTube. I don't care which one you pick, just pick one and you lay down and you go through all of your centers and you're clearing them out. It's also clearing out space from your mind. The more you do this, the lighter your aura gets. Your aura is this energy field around you. The lighter you feel as a person too. Okay, it all goes together. It's the mind, body, and the spirit that connects together. So when you are paying attention to a chakra and you go, oh, I want to avoid red. I do not like the root chakra. I don't like that color. There's a reason. There's the emotional aspect to it, but there's also a food that relates to it. So if you don't like red, red is for grounding. You like that's so cool. Grounding food. So food that's like close to the earth. It could be rooted vegetables. It could be beets. It could be the color if you're into color therapy. Then we have the orange again, which is the creative flow. And when you're flowing in your creativity, you want to eat foods that flow within the water. That could be fish to help that out. It could also be oranges, right? You could do color therapy for oranges. Yellow is the fire. And that's where we have our carbohydrates. So it might be breads, but you want to do whole grains. You don't want to do,
processed or something.
Yes, that's what we steer from in the chakra, the food elements for the chakras. It's never anything that's processed. Everything is always grown. It's, in its natural state. If you can go gluten-free, fantastic. If you can go organic, fantastic. It depends upon your budget and where you're at.
Can you continue? Because I think it's very interesting for people.
Yeah, where we're at. Yellow.
Yeah, yellow.
Green is the heart, right? So that means a lot of greens and leafy greens, lots and lots of it. And it also helps with your circulation, right? So green, get that whole entire oxygen to your body. Then we get tricky. There's not a lot of purple foods and there's not a lot of blue foods. There's blueberry, eggplant. That's it. Right, that's it. So the higher, you'll notice that these three, the lower three, are very dense, okay? And when you come up here, it's more lighter. So these are soups. The throat chakra goes with soups and like sea vegetables. Seaweed would be in there as well. And then when we get to the third eye, that's more teas. It's interesting because the crown chakra is fasting. And what do you do, right? When we're fasting, we're not eating anything. We are resetting our body. That's when you can hit that meditation space. You know what I mean? Like if you do a 3-day fast or things like that, you get hungry and you pass through that hunger. You can also have a really good clarity of thoughts and ideas that come in too, because you're detoxing the system from everything, like an overload. So the higher you go, it's fasting. To the lower you go, you're eating for grounding foods, being more present in your body.
So more dense, heavier.
Yes. So if you are looking for a creative flow, you want to eat orange foods, right, with your sacral. If you are into your powerhouse and you're trying to get through a project, you want to do more whole grains.
Which is interesting, especially like for sports people or so who, have to go running or, have more that drive or power in that sense. I just thought that way.
Yeah, they eat a lot of protein.
They eat a lot of, as well.
Yeah, how much protein?
Carbohydrates.
You get all that fire going through you. But if you look at somebody who meditates all the time, they're usually fasting or juicing. That's more crown chakra.
And so how do people know if there are really imbalances in their system? And then maybe be able to use certain foods like as one aspect of supporting the system to get more into a flow state.
So if you look at your chakras in general, you don't need to go to an energy healer or anybody who is psychic to see if your chakras are off balance, because you will know all of a sudden if you are overactive in your throat chakra and you tell everybody off, or if you have anger issues that are coming up, that's overactive, right? So you want to put that into balance. If the root chakra, if you're moving from place to place, that has to do with stability or even in your job. So I would monitor what you are eating with what's going on in your life and how you want to maintain balance, because sometimes we need that extra strive to get us through a project. We might need these extra carbohydrates when we come home from a late night of work, but after the project's done, you have to find that balance again. So maybe it's eating lighter, maybe it's eating a little bit heavier. It's finding what times work and how to do it. The throat chakra has to do with chewing too. So it's not just, I'm going to go out and eat. It's how do you process things? What do you taste it? You have to slow down life. Kind of. So that's an interesting aspect as well. So you dive into all different kinds of areas, but I would take note of where you are now. Do you feel heavy? Do you feel sluggish? If you feel sluggish, you might want to back up on proteins. You want to do something that's more airy and light, maybe adding soup into, not like a heavy soup, like a light soup, not like dense, like a chili. I want something light.
Or more raw vegetables or raw like sprouts or something like that.
Yes, or even like the broth, like vegetables. I love, and you can add, different toppings on top of that if you want, but not anything that's over heavy.
And so I think that's really cool and interesting. But as well, like in general, how can food block the system, not only the chakra system, but as well the entire energy system? Because it might be really interesting to go a little bit further and not stop here with the physical and the chakra system, because I think like a lot of people are not fully aware that, or might not think about that. It's an entire energy field and not just our body or the chakra system that we're talking about. You get what I'm saying?
No, I'm so sorry. One more time.
Okay, I just like wanted to talk about the entire energy field and how that everything is like from the chakra system interconnected and related to it as well, so that people are not only focused on the chakras here, but it's like our energy body actually goes beyond our physical body and what that is, and
your auric field
talk
around
a little bit more about it. Yes, the aura field.
Fantastic. All right, so your mind, your body, and your spirit are all connected as one. Mm-hmm. And even, like I said at the beginning, it's hard for me. I'm a psychic and I'm a medium. It is hard for me to pull energy from the spirit realm, right, from that higher realm, if I'm weighed down with heavy foods physically. It just doesn't happen. I can channel spirit a heck of a lot better when I'm juicing in the morning than after I have dinner in the afternoon. But even psychologically, everything impacts you too. If you have, people who eat turkey, they always say turkey puts you to sleep, right? Because there's an emotional imbalance with it, as well as a physical and as a spiritual. So these things are all connected. Everything is all connected. And it also helps with your environment too. When you're eating these whole foods, you're thinking about your energy system, right? An orange, for example, vibrates at a faster speed than something that is processed. So when you put this processed item into your system, which is going to show up again within your aura and all around you, it's going to be heavier and denser, and your body's not going to process it like it would the vibration of an orange. Vibrations of orange are higher in frequency because they just got pulled off of a tree and they're fresh. So make sure that you do eat things that are not processed. So I hope, am I answering that right?
Yeah, I think it's like, I think it brings it into a bigger perspective.
Yes. So it's not just in this moment, I need to lose 5 pounds. How can I lose that the quickest? You're making an environmental impact all around you. Plus, my kids, I have kids, they love to go to the farmer's market and support the farmers in their work as well. And there's nothing better than, we just went there yesterday, and he said, Amber, I pulled out this lettuce at 9 o'clock. And I was like, it's 3 hours old. How fantastic is that? Think about all the energy that's in that lettuce that I can eat right then and there, that is nourishing my body, not depleting it. So every time I go to eat food, I go, is it going to be helpful or is it hurting me? Right? If it brings me joy and happiness, I want to have it. If it doesn't, then it's not for me. And
so, yeah, keep going.
I run energy. I'm an energy healer. So I love to scan people and feel and things like that. My energy runs better. And so do the people that I train when they eat higher vibrational foods. Like, this is what is made for us from our earth. So it's like, why not enjoy that vibration?
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And like, my question would have been like, do you see as well, like when people eat certain foods, do you see that in their auric field whenever they eat it or process it? Do you have that insight?
So this is funny. When I scan people and I get to their stomach, right? So that's the solar plexus, the yellow one, that's where your stomach is. And I go, oh, did you just have Doritos? Because that's what I'm getting in your auric field. It's like Doritos. And they usually are like shut down, like, oh, she caught me. Oh, no. And I do get, when people need vitamin D, I'll see sun. So it comes through as an image. It's not, that's how I convey my information. So I will get vitamin D. I see oranges when they need vitamin C before they get sick. I see whatever they might not be digestion that's agreeing. I love the one where I go, oh, when you're not supposed to eat dairy? And they say, I thought about that. I thought I wasn't supposed to. And I'm like, yeah, but you still are. You just need confirmation so that you don't do it. So it's more of those kind of things. That's what, but it stays in your field too. That's what you're saying. It
Mm-hmm.
stays here in the field, and it's heavier than if you have lighter things and juicing and things like that.
Mm-hmm. That sounds fun. And are there a lot of people who are coming to you with like who have not been in contact with this form of work at all before? And what are they experiencing? What are they feeling
Sure.
after one of those sessions?
I have a lot of people who come to me because they have a physical ailment already.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably at the doctor's, they have medicine, and they want something else to complement it. Sometimes that medicine isn't doing what they're hoping to achieve from it or get from it. So when I'm sitting down with people, I'm also asking, what is the emotional aspect of what's going on with you? I have a girl right now who has a skin issue, like rashes all over, that she just can't get rid of. She's going in for creams, and your skin has to do with your boundaries and being vulnerable. So then I need to know the emotional aspect of that. So it's not just, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to know why you're holding on to the weight. I want to know what experiences that you have that you keep doing the same habit or going back to the same habit to put on that weight, and what needs to be healed. It could be from childhood, it could be recently, but something needs to be healed there so that you can have that balance within your life. So people who come to me usually already have an issue. They already have a physical ailment going on, and they're just looking for more answers. So I always say I'm the last resort, but that's okay because it's not like popular yet that people go, oh, if I have a physical ailment, there's an emotional response with that as well that may be triggering it. And sometimes, your body does have things that we go through that you didn't do anything wrong. But the answer is always, how could I love yourself even more? Because that's what we always try to get under to it. The reason we have lack in our life, the reason that we have fear in our life is because there's not enough love in a certain area. So I work with people on changing their perspective so that they can realize that they are love and they are the light, and that you already were whole before you came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. And I think like it's a very, very, like, I love that you pointed that out, that, going beyond and really looking for the root cause and not only treating the symptom.
Right.
So what is really behind it? What brought it into the physical? And maybe that's like something really interesting you might be talking about as well. Like, when do things manifest actually in the physical, or how does it interrelate? Where does it start?
Fantastic. So we
Uh-huh.
have our aura, we have all of the layers around us.
Mm-hmm.
We have a mental body, emotional body, physical body. So when I'm scanning somebody and I'm on top of their aura, I always scan the aura first. I say, I just want to know what's going on here. If I feel something dense, heavy, or that's not smooth, it feels like, you ever felt like you're like thick molasses? That's what it feels like you're trying to move, right? This is dense
Mm-hmm.
energy that's caught up. So I always ask, does your knee, wherever the area is, do you have any physical ailments here? And if they say yes, then I know that's been rooted there for a while. Okay. It's something
Mm-hmm.
that has been on a while. But if I can catch it in the aura and go, all
Mm-hmm.
right, I'm going to sit here with your knee and I'm going to find out what's going on. And then I hear, I'm really mad at my boss, or I hear the reason that comes up. I'm going to talk to the client about it so that we can release this and work on it before it manifests even further.
Mm-hmm.
It does. It starts in your aura first. So check your.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that. And because it's like an opportunity to actually prevent something from you like coming into the physical and then really being a problem, because it's more challenging to heal things or something whenever it already manifests in
Right.
the physical world.
That's when it gets your attention and you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm. Right. Like,
I
yeah.
need to work on something. Yes.
So what are things that people can be accept, like scanning your own field and I think everyone is able to do that. What are other indicators that people might be able to become more aware of, that could be already like a sign of that something is about to come into the into the
Exactly. So let's go back to the guy I was speaking to, and he said, oh, I thought I had a problem with dairy. You
Mm-hmm.
may get thoughts, you may know, because that's your intuition talking to
Mm-hmm.
you. Everybody has intuition. And the more that you develop your intuition, we call that psychic. And some
Mm-hmm.
people are very open to it and some people are very closed to it, but we all have this ability. So usually you have this knowing in the back that has already came into your mind. Oh, I might have an issue with dairy. Oh, you know what? I may need to release or let go of these sodas. They're not serving me. Maybe I'm going for candy because I can't stand my boss. You already know this stuff about you. So you don't have to scan and look for, like different areas. You intuitively already know what's going on. That's how I've always found it. I'm like, did you know prior to this? Well, I thought that this was happening. I think people come more for validation to say, oh, yes, I thought and I needed to know that I was right. And more, that's just finding your intuition out. That's coming into your own more and more.
And I think it's because we're not necessarily trained that way to trust that aspect of us. In the beginning, that we are looking for the confirmation on the outside.
Right. And that goes back to your childhood when you had to get all shut down from, right? Keep quiet. Don't cry. Don't feel this way. And here I'm like, tell me about your feelings. We need to talk about them. I always say your thoughts are not your thoughts and your feelings are not your feelings, because we're energy. So I'm reading your energy field. You're reading my energy field. And it's just like talking to people before and after. You may go over to somebody and then they dump all of their stuff onto you and you leave feeling crappy, right? Because your vibration had to lower down. You lowered down to theirs and they took on yours and now they're up and here you leave away. So not all of your thoughts are yours and not all of your emotions are yours. That's also in the energy field.
Awesome. And how are people more able to differentiate between those two? Or is there a way of that we can, put certain better boundaries or not get affected from other people's energy so much?
Yep. So you'll hear a lot of people say, I need to bubble my energy field, put this big white bubble around me. Some people do, like an armor or a shield, like a visualization, and that's what they're doing. And they're protecting themselves, and then they go out like, ha, can't get a hold of me. But what I don't ever do that. I never have protection around me because I want to understand myself so much of what's going on. So if I am going to talk to somebody and I'm noticing how I feel before and how I feel after, very, very important. I was doing a mediumship reading. We had a group reading the other day. And I went in and I'm like, oh my goodness, my lung is killing me like the whole time. And I'm sitting there and I'm going this way and that way. And I was like, do I have gas? Like, what's going on here? Right. And when I was leaving, I talked to the girl and she said, well, you know how he passed, don't you? And I said, no. She said he had lung disease. And I was like, oh, I gotcha. Because it's just a field that we're reading. When you are open, you have to be open and expand, right? If you have a closed mind, you're only going to think a certain way. If you say, I'm open to new experiences, I'm open to learning, I'm open to understanding, your world gets a little bit bigger. Then you'll realize that where you are may not be yours. So I always tune into myself. Is this mine? If it's not mine, I return it to sender. I don't want to have anybody else's pain. I don't want to have their problems. I don't want to have anything like that because that's what they need to work on. It's not me being mean, right? It's like I have my own problems that I have to associate with and they need to work on theirs. So I always just tune in. I have this ache. Is this mine? And if I feel like it's yes, well, then I need to know more information about it. What can I know about it? How does it feel? And a lot of people don't like to feel pain, right? We're always turned off. I don't want to feel pain. But if your pain could talk, what would your pain say? You're being open to having this response. So number one, is this mine or is this not mine? If it's not mine, I return to sender wherever it's at. I don't care who it came from. You don't have to pinpoint. It's just, I release it. You let it go. And if it is mine, then I want to know what it's about. I want to deal with it because it's something that I'm not loving about myself or that I need to work on.
I love that. I think we went all away from food, but I think it's very helpful maybe for some people, who want to try something different than, whatever is out there in the classical medical field. And so I think it's really important to talk about different aspects or things that are out there and that you're really able to do and reclaim your personal power, and take care of your own health and get back.
And you always come first, and like in in your food or in your emotional aspect in your life. If you have a lover that you don't like, that's all on you, right? You can create a new lover that you do like, right? Because life is so open, and you can manifest the things that you want to manifest. So everything goes together. You eat really good foods that support you and nurture you, then you are supporting yourself.
Mm-hmm. So when you say good foods, like what, from your perspective, would be the ones that people should really definitely integrate tons of in their diet?
Vegetables. Fruits and vegetables. But, a lot of people steer free from vegetables in particular. I don't know why. Fruits, because they're filled with sugar. So, even when my children get home, they want a banana because it's filled with that sugar. But as society in the US, we don't eat enough vegetables. And I'm not talking frozen vegetables. I'm talking right out of the ground vegetables. And here it's springtime. So spring and summer and fall, you can get the best foods and enjoy it and go shopping and talk to your farmer and see what they have available. But like real fresh, and I like to do seasonal. That's a big thing too. So in the fall, we can can things like tomatoes and then have them during the winter, because people tend to fall off the bandwagon, so to speak, in the winter, because there's not a lot of fruits and there's not a
yeah, especially in those regions which are right in the wintertime, like have snow or whatever.
So can keep them available, right? But make sure it's seasonal too. You don't want to have like pineapples when pineapples are not in season and they're imported from way overseas and you don't know the whole entire story of it.
That'd be interesting. How would that, and how does that impact your energy field? Does it in a certain way as well?
So as far as energy goes, this is my biggest, this is what I was told when I started going to healers and like going out and seeing new things. She says, I went to McDonald's, right? Think about the food at McDonald's and the workers that are putting their energy into it emotionally. Maybe they're upset about their day. Maybe, they're not happy about something and they're pounding on that burger and they're wrapping it up. That food is taking on that energy from the source that it's coming from. And then they ship it out to you and throw it to you and you digest it. So when I'm digesting this angry food, I just use McDonald's as an example. It could be any company. But as I'm digesting their angry food, then that's coming into me as well. So I can feel that and absorb that. So I like to pick happy food, happy farmers, and have a joyful experience shopping and picking out stuff.
I think it's a very, very important note, because like especially as well how that affects your emotional body as well, your like yourself, whenever you eat those food, that it's sometimes not just you having a certain emotion, but that emotion is triggered through the food that you're eating.
Right. And they even had the scientific for cows, right? Cows could actually have fear, and that they noticed that, like scientists notified that they were having fearful responses. And what does that do to our body when we consume it? So I think that's all together.
I love that. So what else? So much. So I like things like the one of like when you explain the chakra system. I like concepts like that, but as well like people to stay open-minded and not to get caught up into it, because I think we are such a vast being that is so much beyond whatever system we're using. And I think it's like very important to see it more as a tool and a system to understand and use it more as a guidance system. What's your perspective on that?
Yeah, and it's like an onion, right? It goes deeper and deeper with all the layers. So there's a lot of people who have like physical issues, and we go to a chakra. What chakra is this related? You have lung issues, we're going to work on your heart chakra. Thyroid, we're going to work on your throat and see what's going on in there, and checking out your communication and seeing how you're using things. But at the same time, it could be somewhere else. You may have experiences that you're holding in your cellular memory throughout your body that you're going to go back to. Sometimes I pull out experiences from childhood, or even if you ever consider past lives, right? Some people don't. It's all connected everywhere.
And do you notice that there is a blockage among like society, especially in a certain chakra field?
Yes. Yes. I used to think it was the root chakra. I always thought it was the root chakra. And then I like
Okay.
pop in tons of clients and I'm checking out everybody. And usually it's your solar. So your solar is your self-ID, right? It's
Okay.
who you are. Because a lot of people are people pleasers, especially in this light work field. They want to please other people, not say no, go over and extend themselves. So I think we need to learn as society, it's not blaming others, right? It's more tuning in and saying, I'm responsible for my actions and the things that I create in my life. So solar plexus all the way. And usually what happens when we get stressed out? We eat a lot of carbs and we eat chocolate. That's like the two things that come up. Well, this bread is just so good. When I go out to a restaurant, I want to have that warm bread. It's a solar plexus problem.
Okay, that's fun. But as well, like for example, whenever you do crave certain foods, is there, for example, I think that's what you just described, is there a certain connection to a certain chakra field or whatever, whenever you know, you have like, for example, you all of a sudden want definitely watermelon or that peanut butter ice cream from whatever, so you are able to sense or to know that, okay, it's not necessarily food that I'm needing, it is more something within, you know, within myself that is out of balance.
And emotion.
That
Sometimes like you crave foods that your body needs. Like all of a sudden I had, I'm so sorry. All of a sudden I had a craving for beets and I was like, this is weird. Who craves beets? But I really did like sugar. I wanted it. It was really good for me. And when I went over, so beets, you have the greens that come on top of it and I would like juice them as well. And when I went to the doctors, he's like, your iron is really low. I was like, well, that's interesting. Now I understand that connection, right? So I do feel like your body craves things when you need them or when you lack them. At the same time, some things are also connected to the emotional aspect of why you might be craving crunchiness versus something that's salty, or maybe you need some sweet right now. The lesson is not the lesson, but a word of advice is that if you're craving something sweet, it's because you're missing out on something sweet in life. It's always interesting to me because I'm like, oh, maybe you're stressed out. Maybe you're working too much. What can we do to add some more fun into your life?
So really using life as a metaphor, right? And then being able through understanding whatever you're, you know, sensing or doing, and then use it as a toolkit for yourself, coming back and asking yourself the question, what is like not in alignment or what might be the cause of it. I love that.
Always being open, right? That's the hardest part because we want to do judgment. Well, obviously I'm 10 pounds overweight and this is why I'm eating it. But no, there's more to that. What happens if I was open, bigger to the story? What would the story tell me? What would this craving information have for me? What would it say?
I love that. And from your perspective, how can we use food to enhance our spiritual growth and development as a human species?
As a human species, I love your work because you're always going broader and bigger, and I think that's so important for everybody in general. I love your messages. So as you are thinking about your food, right? My brother's a farmer, which I just adore that too. That gets me super happy. I want you to think where it's coming from. I want you to think the energy that's put into it. My son made the best burgers the other night because he was into it. He's 8 years old. He's like into it. He's adding spices. I don't even know what he added. But he did it from love, right? So think about the energy about that. And when you make a meal from love, it's contagious. People feel that, we sense it, and we're energetic vibrations. So I'm feeling his love. He's feeling my love. And then we have like a gushy family dinner. So it starts with one person and having that flow within themselves and expands to other people. Now you just have to be careful with your vibration. Doesn't matter if it's food or if it's energetic. Be mindful where you want to be at. Like if you are feeling, I always say 1 to 10, how are you feeling today? Well, I'm feeling at a 4. Well, what can we do to make you a 5? Because you are in control of all of this. The world doesn't happen just to us. We have a huge role in it. So playing with the universe, seeing and being what we want to create is important as well.
I love that. And there was one thing, I hope I remember that you just said, what I wanted to pick up on. Yes, yes, the question would be like, whenever you're in not such a good mood, and eat food from an energetic perspective, how would that affect your overall energy, or how you digest the food? I mean, to me the answer is quite clear, but maybe not to everyone.
Yes. So
Sure.
I actually work with something called the scale of emotions, and it
Mhm,
has like dense, heavier emotions, and it goes all the way up to happier or joy. And you
mhm,
can Google it because it has like different levels of
mhm,
things. And when you're feeling dumpy and down and depressed, what kind of foods are you ingesting? Are you going out and having chips and processed and soda cans? And because you don't feel good, you're sitting on the couch maybe, or you're
mhm,
in this really slumpy mood. You have to start making changes for yourself. I have to tell you that when you start going on this whole diet, like the whole foods diet, real food,
mhm,
as we call it, um, you go through this detox system, right? So it feels crappy. Like when you are detoxing all of the toxins that are in your body, you have this point where I remember opening up my cupboards and I was like, I just want something processed. I know I do. And if you can
mhm,
make it through that day, for me, it was just one day that I was holding on to it.
mhm,
It starts to get easier and better. But start with one choice. Maybe that's just making a healthier breakfast in the morning. Breakfast is usually the starting point because that sets your whole entire day. So if I eat unhealthy, meaning I eat a huge lunch, whatever that may be, like today I had a huge bowl of soup, right? And then I had a salad, and I do something really heavy, then at night I'm going to use like a smoothie or a juice or something that's really light for me. So it's like finding those adjustments as well. But if you are just starting, start with breakfast, right? Start your day off good. Maybe it's oats. Maybe you like oats in the morning. I do oats and bananas. Oh my goodness, in a sauce pot.
mhm.
So good.
Sounds good. I love it too.
Delicious. My kids really like toast and almond butter with bananas on top.
Bananas on it. Mhm,
Yes. And I like avocados with like chili flakes, the red
mhm,
pepper flakes on top because it's kind of spicy.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like what is it that you like get excited about that is healthy, and then take that
Yes.
in first and incorporate that more in, because I think like a lot of your taste buds will adjust then and crave healthier foods whenever you begin to incorporate more of it. It
And
just
you'll feel good about it.
yeah,
It
it's
won't be like
fun.
have juice again. You're going to be like, yes, I want that juice because it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
I'm not in the coffee. I'm a big
Mm-hmm.
coffee drinker. I don't ever drink like alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol since 2012, but I'm really bad on coffee. So in the morning, when I crave that coffee, I started switching over to something warm. So that was warm lemon tea in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got used to that because it's the warmness that would get me going. It wasn't so much the caffeine. And now when I hit that slump, I'm like, where is the carrot juice? My boss is like, not my boss, my landlord. She's like, did you just say carrot juice? I'm like, yes, because it gets me going and makes me feel so good. But that's what I want. It's not like I crave the coffee as much.
Mm-hmm.
I crave good things now.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's interesting that you say that. What is the challenge or the problem, maybe even with caffeine in our system from an energetic perspective? Do you notice differences, or do you see differences?
Yep. So, in an energy perspective, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
charge you up and then you're going to plateau. And what do you do to get back up? You have some more to get you back up. Doesn't matter if it's a Coke product, like soda, or if it is the coffee. I think that if you're like, I would have 9 cups a day. So I was way over. Yeah, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Like I planned it out and I was programmed. Oh, 3 o'clock, have to go get coffee. Oh, 6 o'clock, I know that I'm going to crash. I need some more coffee to get me going. And I would go less and less and less. Like I would never go cold turkey ever, but go back to 8. After 8, I'm going back to 7. I'm going down. I'm going down. And that was more of a better general movement for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it messes you with an energy perspective. You're going up, you're going to crash. And then you might have anger, right? It might make you feel grouchy because you're tired and you have to get through your project.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to eliminate coffee unless you're doing, some kind of a sporting event. Like I have professional runners that I've worked with. then they need coffee, I give them coffee. It depends on each person and their system. Nobody's system is alike. Some people do really good being vegetarian. Some people do really good if they have to eat the meat. Some people do really good going back and forth. So at the Integrative Nutrition School, we're taught bio-individuality, that everybody's different and you're respecting that difference. I was vegetarian for 13 years and that's all I knew. And then I got pregnant and I was like, oh my goodness, I need some more protein. So that got back into my system. And then it's like, it's not an everyday thing. It could be once a month kind of thing. It's just when my body feels that I need something, then I use it, or that's when I eat it. There's no restrictions. There's no like, it's A, B, or C. It's kind of getting to know your own body and your own individuality.
Awesome. And there's one more question in this regard that I would like to ask you. The difference between organic food and non-organic food. Do you have an energetic perspective on that one as well?
I go organic all the way. And I really feel like it's worth the money. I drive 30 minutes to my grocery store. Doesn't matter. I lived south from it. I would drive 30 minutes. Now I live north from it and I drive 30 minutes because they have the best organic produce. We don't need stuff that's sprayed with chemicals. We just don't. To ingest that into our bodies is harmful to our bodies tenfold. It doesn't matter what chemical they used on it, you know, if it's the Roundup or whatever it is. If they're outside with masks on and spraying it and they can't have it in your system, then you cannot have it in your system, okay? It's that easy. So I go organic. I know that it's a little bit more pricier. So you might want to, you know, do the clean 15 or the dirty dozen, that kind of way. There's like 15 things that you definitely can go, you know, conventional with. Usually they're under the ground. There's not things like a carrot. You want to go organic, even though it's under the ground. If you eat the skin, you want to go organic, right? I don't like shredding things. I want to eat it all. So I just go organic. Absolutely. 100%. Boop. I love it.
So if people would like and love to work with you, where do they find you?
So I am at the Chakra Diva. It's CHAKRA, thechakradeva.com.
Wonderful. And you have actually a free gift as well that you would like to share with the audience.
Absolutely. So if you go to my site at thechakradeva.com, there is a link up there that says freebies. And under
we will have the link integrated in on our, like on the site where the video is right in. So they can go straight to it. Yeah.
Perfect. How to go from processed to whole foods. So that's starting your journey off, 10 steps to get through it, and how to pick out foods and what to do and things like that. It's an awesome, awesome ebook.
Awesome. Wonderful. So my last question to you is that I'll ask every expert on the summit is, what's your personal message of hope to the audience if you have one?
Oh, I love that. Okay. Well, I'm always working on, my message has been for years and years is to get to know yourself as well as you can, you know, like your ups, your downs. And that's also involving with what foods work with your body, what foods don't work with your body, what relationships do, what don't do work with your body, what manifests. So my biggest hope is that we all get to know yourself inside and out so that you can live your truth and be a voice for everybody else, because we all need each other. And when we're living in lack and fear, that's not living in alignment with love and light. So when you can align with who you are, it's going to make a ripple effect all over.
I love that. Thank you.
Thank you
so much for being part of the series. I think it was a very very insightful, a very different perspective, definitely, compared to a lot of other speakers. And yes, thank you all for watching and joining us today. And please stay tuned on more incredible content on how to eat to improve your health, empower your spirit, and thrive with the planet. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, Amber.